And good evening to you all. Welcome back to some more ALR action. I will be your host today. My name is alluPallu. And this time we will be around the Temple of Speed in Italy. And it will be Monza this time around. This 5.7 kilometer or 3.6 mile circuit in the Italian countryside. Only 11 corners, probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest, with the average speeds. On the screen there it tells that the track difficulty would be very easy, but I can guarantee you it is not. Last week we were in Belgium, where our drivers here had to survive Aero, but this time it will be Ascari, and I believe it will be claiming at least a couple of victims here tonight. Looking at the drivers, we have Sabetti, Malakic, Noob Squid, Nichols, Fontenau, Dublade, Mike Sands, Zab, Reaper Dude, Apex Turbo, Kamage, Denja, Slimmy, Romp. Good luck, Mike. Keep it between the white lines and your front wing at least almost intact, and you should be good. And no, missing a front wing won't lessen your drag. So please don't do any stupid shenanigans into turn 1. Let's take a brief look at the standings of Tier 5. So, Fontenau, the Spanish driver, also present here today, I believe. Yes, he is in his Williams. Is currently leading the championship with a total of 100 points. His teammate Denja in second, only 7 points behind, so pretty much anyone's game at this point. As there has been There has been 7 races and 6 winners, with Apex Turbo being the only one to prevail twice. And as I said in the last week's broadcast, it's near impossible to predict very accurately. Of course, some drivers are gonna look better than the others, but anything can happen. It's a Tier 5 race anyway. Apex Turbo in third in the Drivers' Championship, 17 points to the leader in 83 points. Slimmy in fourth. He missed last week, but he is present this week in his Racing Point. Zap, the Ukrainian driver, is in fifth with his Renault. Sabetti 6th, Reaper 7th. Robin in 8th, but I believe he was promoted or left the server. I'm not entirely sure. Dynamo, pretty much the same story. I don't know. He hasn't been present for quite some weeks now. Dublade is in 10th. Malakic in Egin in 11th. Malakic in 12th. Cam in 13th. Romp in 14th. Aero in 15th. And the rest. Only 4 drivers are yet to score this season. Of the 25 drivers who have taken part this season. The constructors, Williams are really running away with it. They have an 81 point lead over Haas team of Dublade and Sabetti. Looking behind from there, it's more even up. With Racing Point in third, Alfa Romeo in fourth. So yeah, anything can happen basically, but I personally do think that the championship will be contested between the two Williams drivers primarily, with Apex Turbo occasionally having a go for the wins. Turn 1 should be very interesting as our drivers are currently readying up. The very, very tight chicane. It's very narrow. Almost too narrow for 2 cars to go side by side. And really, the drivers need to respect each other and brake on time. On the very first lap. And of course, with the circuits hosting so many straights as Monza is, the ERS management is gonna be a key. And of course, surviving Ascari from lap to lap. It's really all about the entry angle. If you take it right, you can take it flat. And if you can take it flat, you're fast on the back straight. For example, in my personal tier 2 race on Thursday, I managed to get the jump on AO Cloud on the start, but it was just too much. And we have rain in qualifying, much like in tier 2 earlier this week. It would look like the weather is okay for the intermediate tires. And it will be a dry race. Thank you very much, Dublade. So with the dry setup, it's always going to be interesting going into the qualifying. Will the drivers have issues with their rear end stepping out? And all in all, with grip. So it would seem all of our drivers are currently either out or fitting the intermediate tires. So let's see how this session will shape up. Of course, we shall not count out the possibility of the track drying out during the session as the cars go around, spray the standing water off the line, as Cam Midget already goes very wide on his out lap. And the rear stepping out right there, so it will be tricky, at least for the first laps. It will be very tricky to harvest all the grip possible and get everything right for the first timed laps. Of course, invalidations and penalties are frequent in Monza, as there has been the first retirement with Noob Squid barely making it out from the pits and probably spinning out. But nevertheless, we will be focusing on Cam, who is now heading around Parabolica to start the first time lap of the session in his McLaren. Really tricky to get the power down, but occasionally Indian manages to do so and crosses the line for his first time lap. Let's see. Of course, Monza being such a short track, there probably will be traffic in the last sector as Cam goes a bit wide, but looks like he's got it together with the grip. I believe it is Romp or Slimmy right behind him, who seems to have gone faster in the first sector. Heading into Lasmo 1. going really wide. It's very... that braking zone into Lesmo 1 is very tricky, especially with the wet conditions, as Cam is really having issues with his back end. Goes purple on the second sector, but I think it might be Slimmy behind, taking it away from him. Really cautiously through Ascari, but makes it. And into Parabolica to set the first time lap of the session. I have no memory of what the tier 2 times were with the wet conditions, but Cam will score a 1:30.7, and he will be instantly one-upped by Romp. It will be Denja, who is invalid. Nichols also invalid. Reproduce to the line with a 1:30.4, goes second. It will be an AlphaTauri of Malakic next. Let's see what he can do. Goes fastest with a 1:29.2, nearly 7/10 quicker than Romp. Slimmy slots in right behind him. What about Mike Sands heads to the pits. Dublev with a 1:31.3. Currently the slowest, but plenty of time to improve. Renault of Zab was crossed the line next. He slots in just between the racing points with a 1:30.2. Next up is Sabetti here, my teammate in the Nations Cup. Will score a 1:29.7 and is nearly instantly one up by Fontana, who's gone 1:29.4. So very tight at the top early in the session, with Polish driver Malakic getting the best and the drivers opting for the escape road here early. Let's see, on the time lap is now Apex Turbo, challenger of the two Williams pair. Sorry, the two Williams, of course. Two pairs of Williams in Tier 5, especially if they're that dominant, would be interesting. Really taking a lot of curb on the second chicane now into the Lesmos. Keeping it together nicely. Yet again a lot of curb on the inside and outside. Will that be the strategy which will prevail? Goes purple on the second sector at least. Really nicely to Ascari, that looked fast. Keeps the back end from spinning out and into Parabolica now. What will Apex get? Looks like a really intact lap to me. But is it fast? That we will know at the line. And Apex Turbo crossed the line with the 1:29.4, goes third fastest. And the first laps are almost all in the bag. Denja going really wide at the Ascari, but still is on a valid time lap. Let's see if he will be able to get on the board. Into Parabolica. Really struggling with the rear, but it will be a fast lap of 1:28.6. So he manages to go fastest with 6/10 over Malakic with 3 lap old intermediates. But we do gotta keep in mind that the intermediates are, well, the durability is somewhere between the mediums and the hards in my opinion. So even though if there's a couple of laps in them, they might be still valid. But Denja really